welcome Marnu to the EDP podcast.
Thank you.
So you've watched some of the episodes, right?
I watched a couple. I watched
Okay.
Ryder. Listened to Evan.
So you kind of like get the idea.
Yeah,
right?
general idea.
Okay, so you're obviously, like you said, a bit different
Yeah.
because but I think it's still a good thing because you're kind of experiencing the.
It's like a look into the future of the podcast.
Exactly.
You know?
So just tell me a bit about what you're doing.
I went to Vancouver for first year engineering at UBC. It's because like I was always good at math and physics, so I'm like, I figured I may as well do something with that, and it's also like intrigued me. I always wanted to try and make like a good impact in the world, so I'm like, that's a pretty good way of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard. It was hard as hell, but like I'm glad I went to Vancouver over staying in like the Okanagan because listening to what some of my buddies went through, sounds like I made the right choice because a lot of the classes here like screwed them over and stuff.
Oh, really?
I don't know. UBCO is like obviously a lot newer, so like all the programs like raw and they're not really organized, all that type of stuff. So I don't know. I'm glad I went down there. It's just it was so organized. Like everything was like reasonable. I could always get help.
That's good.
A lot of people had different experiences.
That's actually I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
Like is UBC? Do you know when it was built? Like the UBCO?
UBC. There's so in UBC Vancouver, UBC firstly it's like a city. Like it has 3 times the population of Lake Country that lives on campus, and another like 2 times Lake Country who attend the university from outside of campus. Yeah. So it's like in the center there's a fountain, and on the fountain there's like a plaque that reads like who founded UBCO and like all that. I do not remember when it was because obviously the UBCO used to be I think it was like Okanagan University or something.
Oh,
which
really?
was like a branch of like OC.
Huh.
Which is super weird, right? But then like UBCO bought it and they changed it to like another UBC location.
Dang. Okay.
I think it was around 1980, maybe earlier, maybe later. I don't know.
But they've added a lot of things too.
Oh,
right?
they added a lot. I was working there today actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing now?
Yeah, I'm pulling wire with my dad, and he's one of the
sweet.
contractors for the university. Yeah.
So is that like what you're doing for like the rest of like the summer kind of?
Yeah. It's the best pay I can get, and like the issue with a lot of engineers for like when I finish my degree is a lot of them know the technical parts. Because obviously we like run job sites and like construction sites and stuff. Yeah. So a lot of them know the technical of like, okay, this needs to happen, but I don't know how it happens. So I figured like working on job sites might be like really beneficial to me.
Yeah. Okay. That's really sick. You like dorm in?
Yeah, I had my own dorm. It was nuts.
Like you have like people with
yeah. No, I had my own single. It was hype.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was glad I didn't have roommates. Holy.
Okay.
Probably would have helped making friends, but like didn't
That's
really.
Fair.
You know. Anyways,
we have a special guest, Coder.
Whoa.
The podcast is going on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is what happens when you record at the splash park. Yeah, I'll be there later. Technical difficulty a little bit.
Oh, good.
No, that's that's sick. So have you like been helping Ryder out a lot anyway? Cause
yeah, I've talked to him a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. He's like I did do a bit of electrical like classes and stuff, but he's kind of in his own world over there. Because like, I was talking to my dad, right? Because one of the classes I had to take was electromagnetism. My dad's an electrician, so I went into the class being like, "Oh, light work. I can get help anytime I wanted." And then I showed him like the content from the second week. He's like, "I've never seen that in my life." I'm like, okay, I'm on my own. Okay. So yeah, electrician and like engineering does not mesh super great, I guess. Okay. A lot less than I thought it would.
All right. But like overall so far, what would your university experience be? Is it like
I liked it. I'm trying to get into engineering physics, which is considered like the hardest degree from UBC. It only accepts 60 people a year. So the thing with that one is it's a mesh of mechanical, electrical, and software engineering all into one degree, and you also graduate with a master's in physics. Yeah. But as an undergraduate degree without doing the master's degree, so I'm going to take like every class the physics department offers. So the thing for that class is like you need above an 80% average in like your math and physics and like a good average overall, and then you also have to attend an in-person interview for them to see if like you'd be a good fit for the program.
So just a lot.
Yeah, no, it's by far the hardest. Like it's the most tedious application process for any degree that's offered, but like the interview went banger. It was so
That's
crazy.
Really good.
It was nuts. I had to interview with 5 different people, 5 minutes each, and they all asked me different questions. I had to interview the director of the program.
Dang.
Bro, and me and him, Loki, we bonded. It was crazy.
Bro,
I hit him with my life story. He's like, sounds like we went through the same thing. I think you'd do great in this program. I'm like, whoa, that was a bomb of a line to drop.
That's really good, dude. Holy.
No, bro, that's what I'm saying. So, like, they weighed, like, your grades 2/3 of the application process, and they interview, like, 1/3. So, the 1/3 is, like, there. So, I just need that 2/3. I ended with an 84.2 average, which is, like, exceptionally good. So, like, I'm hoping I get it.
Dang.
But,
that's impressive, dude.
Yeah, but, like, to be honest, like, because I was so locked in to try and get that average, because I wanted to do that program since, like, grade 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I saw it when, like, I did a physics Olympics with Mr. McKenzie the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's hosted down at UBC, so then I'm like, and it's actually in the engineering physics building. So then I saw, like, the pamphlet for the degree. I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do.
Dang. So you kind of had it figured out for a while, huh?
Sometimes, honestly, I found that sometimes, like, your future kind of hits you straight in the face and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
Like, I never would have expected going down there that I'm like, I didn't expect to be going to Vancouver. I thought I'd go to UBCO.
Right.
I thought I was going to do mechanical engineering, because I've always kind of expected I'd be an engineer because I've been good with math and numbers and stuff. But, like, as soon, like, it's kind of just hits you straight in the face and your entire life shifts all of a sudden. It's crazy.
Honestly, I'm waiting for that day, dude, because
it happens later for some.
Yeah, it really has been for me, dude. Honestly, I just haven't.
I mean, there's no pressure for anything, right?
And for some reason, I build my own pressure, I guess. I don't know.
I feel that, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never had to be, my parents never had to, like, yell at me or anything.
No, me neither. They haven't really pushed me to that much, which,
well, that's also another good thing about the podcast, right? You've heard a lot of what other people want to do. Maybe inspires you to do something.
That was always the point of it, right?
Yeah.
Or even it could take off by itself and I could just do that or anything, right?
There's a ton of people who make money off interviewing people for the future.
Exactly. So, it really depends on what happens. But it definitely has been beneficial. And it's actually been a lot of fun, too.
Yeah. Like, I can imagine. This is great.
It's been a while. I won't lie. It's kind of tough to stay consistent.
Oh, yeah.
But I've just been saying, I just want to finish Capstone. You know, I want to prioritize all these other things.
Yeah.
So I think as soon as Capstone is done, it's either going to be I drop, this is the last episode, or I keep going and just do it for fun. And because at this point it hasn't blown up, right? And I didn't expect it to. I never wanted it to really. But like, it's been a good experience, I'd say. Because
it's a good hobby too.
Yeah, no, like, for sure.
Learning, like, recording skills, especially like editing skills.
Yeah.
No, I can see that. Honestly, it's like, I agree with you for the capstone things. As soon as I finished mine, because I'm gonna be honest, I totally cheesed my way out of, like, not having it in timetable.
Yeah.
I went to Wakefield and I'm like,
really?
Hey man, I have physics and calculus. Can I get it out? And he's like, oh, sure, whatever. He always liked me. I kind of
Wakefield's gone now as well.
Yeah, I heard.
We've had so many, like, different. We have a whole new vice principal.
Are they scary?
Okay, so we had.
Are they scarier than Smith was?
Smith was good. I don't know why. He actually didn't like Smith.
I didn't mind him, but he always looked at me like I did something wrong, and I know I didn't.
You know, I know the face, but, like, I liked him. I don't know.
Oh no, I like Wakefield because he was my volleyball coach in grade 8.
Well, it just sucks because we're gonna walk, like, for the grad walk,
and they don't know you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know.
No, I feel that.
I know, like, one of them because she's been here for, like, the start of the year.
Yeah.
But we got a new one, like, a month ago.
What, like, elementary school did you go to?
I went Pure.
Okay, so, like, I went to Davidson, right? And I was obviously an immigrant, so, like, I started there in, like, kindergarten, and it was, like, kind of weird for me because I still didn't fully speak English and stuff.
No, I've had the same experience.
So, so, like, I had a principal, Miss Slaney, and she was there from the time I was in, like, kindergarten, and then as soon as we got into grade 6, like, 2 months before we left the school, they moved her to Black Mountain.
Dang.
And everyone was, like, sobbing their eyes out, and it was so crazy. And then she, like, video called us from, like, Black Mountain during our graduation. But it's like, I don't understand why they just get rid of teachers who've been, like, with a class forever as soon as they're about to leave.
Yeah. I mean, even Riga's retiring this year. It's that's
kind of crazy. Riga's retiring with you, at least.
You know what? That's honestly that's like I was sad to hear it.
Yeah.
I was like, at least he's doing it with our year.
To be fair, he's been edging us with retirement. He's like, I'm gonna do it. 3 years ago, he's like, I'm gonna retire. I'm like, sure you are. And then he's like, but I'm gonna stick with it one more year because I want to retire with those grade 12s. Then as soon as that year ended, it was a really good year for us. He's like, I'm gonna wait another year. And then it was that was last year. And then this year, now he's like, I'm gonna retire with these guys. And I think this time it's for sure. Because I think it was always just like, how strong the band was that was pushing him on because he really enjoyed it. But I don't think he's gonna enjoy the next couple of years of trying to build up middle schoolers.
I won't lie, it did fall off this year,
bro. I saw so many videos of the Minecraft movie songs.
It's actually painful, Marnu. Yeah, okay, but like, I think it really is like this time.
Yeah,
because he's been saying it a lot.
No, I'm sure it is because it's always been. He feels like indebted to the people that like really loved it and like, really felt strong about it, and I don't think that's gonna be there for the next couple of years.
I mean, he kind of could do one more because of grade 11s. He kind of did like stuff with them, but I think it's a better year for us to do it. I don't know.
It's what he's getting old, man. And to be fair, his best friend retired like 4 years ago, Jukic.
Oh yeah. Was that long ago?
Bro, it was like grade 9 for me.
I never had him as a teacher.
I had him.
I've heard so many good things about him.
I had him grade 8, I think, and honestly, I wouldn't be in the sciences if it wasn't for him.
Really?
So I only had him once.
You know, teachers like that really can change your life, bro.
It's so crazy to me. Like I have like my girlfriends from KSS. I know so many people from other schools, and like I listen to all their stories. And honestly, I feel like small town like George Eliot, prime examples, like they have the best teachers for some reason. And
teachers, like, they don't get a lot of pay, but oh my gosh, they have so much influence, like, with everything.
Damn straight, dude. It's great. Like, I still talk to McGarry. He edited so many of my papers this year.
Oh yeah, funny. That's sick, dude. That's so sick. Yo.
And like I gave when Mr. McKenzie and like the physics Olympics team went to Vancouver, I gave them the tour of UBC campus.
Oh really?
Like I was with them for like 5 hours that day. Yeah. Like it's honestly like it's connections you make for life if you make them well, you know.
Yeah, honestly, teachers are it's actually insane. I think I was talking about it with Evan how much like the teachers can influence you and just like there has to be some type of connection, you know.
Yeah.
Like not like as a friend, like
yeah.
I mean, first name basis is like it's just weird sometimes, but like
I would like I grew up like I'm from South Africa, so like traditional household kind of, and my parents always taught me that if you call like an adult by their first name, you're disrespecting them. So it's so weird for me to call anyone by their first name, especially someone older than me.
Yeah, especially as a teacher, right? Like you're just used to saying like Mr. or Mrs., right?
You know, I'm like at the point where like if McGarry told me to call him Dave, I'd be like, nah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with McGarry. Thank you very much.
McGarry's better anyways. Come on. McGarry's a good last name.
It is like it's hype. There's a lot of mix in our school. You notice that?
Yeah.
It's like McKenzie, McGarry, McWhirter.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Speaking of McGorry, I was like reminded of Sting game now. Dude, I got like top 5 in Sting. I got out like on Tuesday, I think.
Nah. You got out?
Yeah.
By who?
I think it was Emmy. I think that's her name.
Damn.
Although I had her, which made no sense.
Bro, you know what ticked me off about Sting? I was like in it for so long because Denlin had me, and he was just not trying to get me at all for some reason. And then Zoe ended up getting Denlin. The issue is that me and Zoe studied together on our spare during calculus.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like, I walked in one day to our spare, and Zoe just like slapped me in the arm, and she's like, "You are out." I'm like, "Gosh, damn it! I knew this was gonna happen one day."
Yeah, Sting. The first time went a lot better. This time is kind of trash.
Yeah, it kind of happened for us the same.
Yeah.
Like the second time, the first time for us kind of sucked as well because the two last people were like best friends. So they decided to just split the prize pool.
You know how much it was?
It was like, I think they got like $45 each.
Yeah, so the prize second time was $74. I didn't really miss out on a lot, but
yeah, it's like Sting's such a good concept until like you get like there's just people that just don't make it work.
Yeah, yeah. But also you can't like it's only on school property.
Yeah, that's kind of what I liked about Senior Splash-In because it was like
you guys
everywhere.
Had that, hey?
You guys didn't do that?
We don't have that.
No, what?
People were talking about. I was like, bro, that sounds so much better.
Yeah, no, it was like there was people like I went to like Beasley like one night and there was like people that showed up. They started doing donuts in the parking lot. I had to escape out the back of the park. Luckily, I left my bike back there because I knew that was gonna happen.
That
so I
sounds
hopped on my
so
bike.
much more fun.
No, that was hype.
Like, was it like? I've seen like clips on like Instagram where they had like floaties. Is it kind of the same deal?
Yeah. I had like a floaty around my ankle at like all times in public.
Man, that's
the thing. Is my targets were always in the middle of like nowhere. It was so like strange. I had like Lucas Taylor or like Lucas McCool at one point. They were like up in like a fishing cabin in the mountains. I'm like, I'm not driving out there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get shot if I try to shoot them through a fishing cabin window. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we didn't do that. But staying, yeah, it's.
Bro, I missed this school, low key.
Oh, I was gonna ask. Have you like missed like high school?
I went from a class of like 145, I think my class was last year, to like
grad class.
Yeah, to like I think there was at least 1,000 first-year engineers for like, and that's not even like all first years at UBC, right? It's like all first years probably accounted for like a good 6,000 or 7,000. We all were in like the pep rally at the beginning of the school year, and it was crazy to look around.
I mean, it's university, but like still so crazy.
So like even at UBCO, I feel like it goes from like here, obviously like I was kind of like well known. I was valedictorian. I was the band kid, you know. And then like I went from that to like I was just a number down there, you know.
Yeah.
And it was both like a relief, and it also like was like I had like an anxiety point at one point because I'm like. I'm really like I felt like I was really nothing at one point, you know. It's like it's a huge change, especially when you go from like a small town school where like kind of you know everyone to like you're walking around, you don't see one familiar face. And obviously that goes away over time. You meet a lot of people. I've made like a good couple friends. I'd say I made like one to three like really good friends this year, but like I've made a good group of people. Good. But like I'd say the biggest change for me like working, like I had to do a lot more work this year because I never really had to like push myself in high school and stuff. So like that was a huge change, but I think the biggest one was like socially. It's like there was no more band, there was no more volleyball, there was no more like track and field. It was just like you had to find your own ways of keeping yourself entertained.
Dang. Well, is there no like you tried out for jazz band, no?
Oh yeah,
was that the only thing there?
I tried out. No. There was a ton of things there. It's just I didn't know how much I could do while locking in. You know?
Okay.
So it's like I tried out for jazz band and I didn't make it, which was like the biggest shock of my life. You know.
Dude, I was like, what?
Yeah, no. So I didn't make that, and I'm like, to be fair, UBC jazz band was like the same size as like the jazz band I was in like grade 8. So it's not like huge. So you have to be pretty damn good to get in.
Right.
And also it's like. There's people that go there and been playing music since they were like 2, right?
Yeah.
So you're competing against like Mozart over here, and then you're over here. It's like I started in grade 7. I'm doing my best, guys. So, anyways, I didn't make it into that. It was like huge shock, and then I went out to like there's UBC. Even if you don't get into like the official UBC like jazz club or like volleyball team or like whatever, they have their own like smaller sections, and I just went to like on Monday nights jazz club had like jam sessions in what we call the Nest, which is like basically just the student collection center kind of. You go there and there's a ton of restaurants, you can study and like all that.
That's so sick.
And like 3 stories up they have this floating platform that we like to call the egg because it's like the student nest, because the mascot for like UBC Vancouver is the Thunderbirds, which is like an indigenous like figure. Can't really speak to what it actually is because I'm not that knowledgeable about that, but like so the nest is like where everyone connected, and the egg is like this giant floating platform like 3 stories up, and just on the egg every Monday from like 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. they set up like drums, basses, there's keyboards, and you just go and there's iPads with sheet music on, and you just someone picks a song and you just play. And it was so sick. Everyone gets to solo, people get to play heads, and honestly, what the biggest transition for me with that is, I think I played more lead sheets in jazz band than I played sheet music. You know, so it's like you'd show up and there'd people that have like the lead memorized, and they just play the lead, and then you solo. But it was crazy, and honestly, I think that was way better than the actual jazz club because it was way less of a commitment. So I was able to lock in a lot better. And also, it's like you go and you can solo, and even if you fail, there's no pressure on you.
Yeah,
you know,
it seems a lot more chill. And even like jazz band now is it's kind of chilled down. We only play 3 songs.
I want to show up at one point for that.
Brie was asking you to come on this Monday.
I'm in Squamish this Monday.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to come out to a different one though. Probably the week after. I'll probably be home.
What about the year-end concert?
I'm there. Riga called me the other day. He called me. Apparently Zoe called him to ask.
Okay, yeah, Zoe.
And I texted Cassie about it. So like the 3 of us are going to be at the year-end concert playing with you guys.
That's so sick. But it's just like our band's good, but we did beef 300 this time in Windscapes. We were 400 last year.
Yeah.
We won our category, but I was just like, we weren't gonna win B400 for sure.
Well, we didn't win B400 last year.
Yeah.
You know.
But I wish I still would have gone B400 and lose than B300 and win.
That's like putting up a good effort on a high level is way better than I like playing down, you know.
Like I miss playing like Takata and stuff. It's just like a more harder piece. Oh, are you getting annoyed about that? Or you're saying like, oh, I miss it?
No, I miss all that.
Okay.
Bro, like concert band is the one thing I couldn't do. Honestly, like I had an opportunity to try out for the wind ensemble for UBC, and I would have made it for like third clarinet maybe, but it overlapped with my schedule. I just couldn't. It was 3 hours on Monday. 3 hours, man. Yeah, and it was so irritating because I so wanted to do it, and I knew some people that were in it, but I just like it just didn't fit with me. It's too much going on.
That's tough.
One thing I should have done though is they're like the engineers themselves have a band down there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's Godava band, and you actually get like patches and stuff to put on your engineering jacket to like show that you were in it. It was so sick.
Huh. Yeah, concert band. It's good, but it really, I don't know.
It's not what it was.
It's just that we haven't been pushing ourselves that much.
Yeah.
I'm not even like gonna diss on it that much, but it's just like people don't care as much anymore. Like, cause you like grade 12s from last year. Yeah, you guys were way more committed than not even just us, but like also the 11s. Yeah. Mostly, it's just like we haven't been playing a lot of songs. We haven't been like doing like stuff like Takata, like nothing technical. Yeah. Really.
Yeah, I feel like the 12s last year is like we had a 12 in like every section, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like it kind of pushed every section.
Yeah.
But then it's like as I knew as soon as we left something was gonna shift. I just didn't know what was gonna shift.
It's just like not commitment, but what's the word I'm looking for? Word.
Just like drive.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Passion almost to be there. Like a will to be there. We want to be there at bat. Like most people just don't even want to be there. So it's just
that's not hype. That's like ruins it for everyone who wants to be there.
I think a lot of the people just want to like do the band trip.
Yeah.
Even though we're going Calgary again this year.
Yeah, but I was talking to like the teachers about it, and the plan that they have is completely different from last year. It honestly sounds hype.
No, I think it'll still be good, but you know, there was always talks of Tofino. Even that one Hawaii trip. I don't know if you heard about that.
I did hear like the school that offers us to go every year. Bro, I don't like trips like away tick me off so much because I was supposed to go on one in grade 8.
Yeah, I forgot we didn't even get like band trips until
it's
grade 9 was my first one.
Grade 9 is supposed to be your first one, but the thing is, in grade 8, I was like, I still played alto at that point, right?
Yeah.
So I was like grade 8. In grade 7, I played in the junior jazz band, which was like grade 8 and 9. And then grade 8, Riga asked me to play in the senior one. And I was the only alto sax in the senior jazz band that year.
Really?
So the seniors were supposed to go to the Capitol, like to Victoria. They were supposed to play at the Capitol. What? And I was invited to the band trip. I wasn't originally. And then one day Riga turned to me, he's like, would you be able to afford a trip to Victoria? I'm like, I would have to do a lot of fundraising, probably. He's like, okay, well, you're welcome to go. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I did a bottle drive. I saved up the $600. I paid it in. COVID just slammed it right back down. Never happened again. Yeah, I got my money. Okay. Thank goodness I got my money back. But like, I was so sad about it, man. Because it's like I had this whole thing planned out. We were there for a week. I knew who my roommates was. I was friends with them. I practiced so much. Literally, I don't think I was ever as committed to band as grade 8 because I literally went in every single lunch period because I could not play those senior songs for my life. We played Summertime. We played Take 5. Like all the like classics. I couldn't play them for hell, so I'd go in at lunch, I'd put my like earphones in, put them on, and then I'd play along just over and over and over again. And honestly, I think that's what drove me to that's what really made me like good in band. Like I learned how to sight read, I learned how to play by ear. It's like so that year was so good for me. And then COVID hit and it kind of just like it killed me a little bit because I was so excited for that trip. We were gonna play it or stay at the Hotel Zen, which like we have one in Kelowna.
Yeah,
and it looks so cool. They had a water slide for the 3rd story. They had like pool rooms. They had ping pong. I was so hyped for that trip, and it got canceled. And I was so ticked off.
I think everyone was planning a trip before COVID hit.
There was
'Cause
always
I had a trip. I was gonna go to
Literally?
Spain.
Bro,
And
nah.
COVID.
No, there's always everyone had something planned, and
Yeah.
it got ruined by everything.
And ever since like that, like
I feel like
just,
everything's been so mellow since
right?
then, you know?
Like COVID really did something, man.
This is my first year that I'm actually going on like a vacation with my family. I'm just going back to Africa for like a month.
Oh, sick!
I
This like
can't
this
wait.
summer,
Yeah.
dude. That's so awesome.
Can't wait. I'm hoping I come back with a little bit of my accent back.
I never heard your accent. You ever had an accent before?
I only have it when I speak the language, which makes it so difficult to like say that I have one. So I'm hoping that when I go there, I get a little bit back just so that I sound like I'm an immigrant.
A little bit of a tan too, maybe.
Well, I tan super easy, so hopefully. But I'm white right
I was
now
gonna
because
say.
I was in Vancouver for so long.
But was that at least good? Did you like enjoy it? Like you a city guy?
I'm not a city guy, but honestly, like UBC is like probably the most green part of Vancouver.
Yeah.
Like I could walk. Like I had a bike program down there that I had a bike share, so I just walked out to like the stand. I could just take one, and I could bike out to like a forest in like 5 minutes, and I just went on a walk sometimes whenever I needed to clear my head.
You said everything there, hey?
Not to mention the beach was like a 5-minute walk from my house, so I'd like walk down to the ocean and I'd just like sit there.
So are you going back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if I didn't get into my program and like my second choice is mechanical and I can do mechanical UBCO, I'd have no reason to. You know, It's like I go down there. UBC Vancouver is the 25th best school in the world for engineering, which like 25 sounds like pretty low on the list, but if you're talking about global universities, that's like way up there. You know.
Yeah.
There's like hundreds of universities in every country.
Is it the best in Canada, you think?
It's between U of T, so like University of Toronto, and like UBC. Those are the top two. Last time I checked, it was second against U of T, but U of T also has the highest depression rate, so I think I'll take the second best.
That is a crazy statistic, bro.
Yeah, they actually, there was one rail. I don't know if this is too dark for the podcast or not. There was one railing at U of T that they had to remove and put a wall in because there was too many people jumping off of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That hits.
That's
hard.
honestly a bad rep, hey?
That is a horrible rep, bro. And it's like, it's not even because like U of T is hard, but I've heard like a lot of the difficulty, not to like pin it on this like depression rates or anything, but a lot of the difficulty, like Zoe went to U of T.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
and
yeah. That's right.
I heard a lot from like other people I know that was there at one point as well. It's like a lot of difficulties that like the professors there are like so like ethnically diverse and like so many of them are immigrants that it's so hard to understand some of them.
Okay.
Like heavy ass accents, and it's like that's not a bad thing. So obviously you want a diverse group of people. It makes a better team. I've learned all about that this year, but it's also like you have to be understandable. You know?
Yeah.
Like I can't like I had a lot of professors that had accents, but I can't say they were to the point where I couldn't understand what they were saying. So I can definitely see how if you're doing like engineering, especially, like it was hard for me this year, and I had good profs, right?
Yeah.
If you have like mediocre profs, you can't understand what they're saying, and the class is hard itself. I can understand why that could maybe like bring down morale.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
and even like the winter always just feels like
when seasonal depression is also a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I can imagine that would be amplified as well.
Yeah.
I got snow once at UBC during winter, by the way. And when we got snow, I had 2 snow days, 0 classes.
Dang, really?
Like 3 of them got moved online. Everything else was canceled.
Where are my snow days at?
Bro, to be like, you know what's crazy to me? The snow was literally like not even a foot high.
And they call it
probably a good 6 inches, maybe. And it's just like the issue is in Vancouver, everyone assumes it's just gonna rain all year, so they don't put winter tires on. So as soon as there's snow, everyone starts sobbing their eyes out. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die in my car." So just no one would drive to campus. There was no one like anywhere.
That makes sense though. Yeah.
It does, but it's also kind of weird coming from Kelowna where you get like a foot of snow and everyone's still driving to work, you know?
Yeah.
Like last time I had a snow day, I think it was grade 5.
Yeah, I think it must have been elementary school for me then too.
Yeah, I literally couldn't get out of my driveway. Like that's how much snow it took for me to have a snow day here. But down there, it's like I can literally walk in it, and it's still like canceled. Yeah,
Vancouver. I was even gonna say this winter wasn't that bad.
No,
like
it wasn't.
Snow wise, and like the temperature really wasn't awful. No. It was like windy, which made it bad sometimes, but the temperature itself really wasn't that bad.
I was walking outside with t-shirts
in the winter.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's days where it's just like you walk outside and you're like, oh, it's good enough. You don't.
No
I don't
way.
need a jacket.
So how does it feel over here now? Is it warm for you or?
Temperature's never really been an issue for me. I
Yeah.
run hot, so I guess it makes sense that I didn't have to wear like jackets in the winters.
Yeah.
But it's like summer's just a little bit more intense for me, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you go to Africa, so that'll be.
I'm gonna have to live through that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm staying in my aunt's beach house.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Other than like I have to go across the entire country because my parents have to visit all their old friends.
Okay.
And I have to go see my grandma I haven't seen since I was 2. It's gonna be so.
So do you like still speak fluently then?
I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but I'd say like I can probably speak at a conversation level,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Like there's times I might like have wrong grammar or structure and stuff, but I'd definitely like if I went there I'd probably be able to survive.
Yeah.
But like some people would
That's
argue
good enough.
that's fluent, but like if you asked me to like go get my like oil changed in Afrikaans, I'd probably be like screwed. Like I don't know the word for that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. No, but like, if you go, like, if you're learning French or something, and you go to like Paris, and you, exactly, like, because French is just
French
awful.
is such an awful language.
Do you know any other languages besides English and?
I took French up to grade 12. I actually skipped grade 11 French because my teacher assumed I had a good enough grade that they're like, oh, you don't need grade 11. And there was too many people taking grade 11 French, so they just moved me to grade 12.
They just do that.
I didn't know that either. Like me, Zoe, Cassie, Minnie, like they moved like 5 of us up. And we were like, you can do that? And they're like, oh, it'll be fine. So the entire year, we kept asking, like, are we going to get our grade 11 French credit? They're like, I'm sure you will. Then at the end of the year, it was like such an issue to try and figure that out.
Really?
So they eventually just ended up giving us the same grade for grade 11 French as they did for grade 12.
Huh.
But like, yeah, so I took French up to grade 12. I was so confident in French by the end of grade 12, I'd lost it all, man. It's gone.
It really is like that. As soon as you
stop, it's gone.
I don't know why it's so like difficult, dude.
Bro, French is like I think like languages have like classifications, right? It's like if I remember correctly, it's like a class like 2 or 3 language, and then you get to like Norwegian and Swedish, and that's like a class 5. You know how difficult that would be to learn?
Yeah.
And it's because you have to learn like a new alphabet. You have to learn new ways of using your like you have to make new sounds. It's like languages. It's so crazy to me how we've just like developed these ways of speaking.
And English is like pretty easy.
English is easy for us because we grew up in it, right? If you learn it from a different language, it's like imagine like learning. It's like like the way I think about it's chemistry. It's like chemistry has so many rules that applies like every second Tuesday of the month to like 3 different elements. It's like there's so many rules, but like majority of the rules have like 20 million exceptions to them. So English is like the same thing for me. It's like there's so many rules to the grammar, but there's like equally amount of exceptions to the rules as there are rules, you know?
Oh, I thought you'd get me started on chemistry, dude. I sucked at chemistry too. Holy.
Bro, chemistry was my second lowest grade this year.
Really?
Yeah. I guess I can't complain because I still got a really good grade in chemistry, but like...
You do AP chemistry in grade 12?
I didn't take any AP classes.
No?
Okay, here's my thing, right? I went to Mr. Shaw and asked him, like, do you think AP classes would benefit me? You know who I am as a student. He's like, I don't know. Do you think it's going to benefit me? I'm like, okay, firstly, this is your job, not my job. That man kicked me off a little bit sometimes because I'd ask him a question. He'd be like, it's really up to you. I'm like, no, it's up to you. I'm asking you. So anyways, I knew people that went to KSS. They did AP classes. And honestly, doesn't sound like it was worth it.
No.
Like, the best that I knew, it's like I had some friends down in Vancouver that their AP math, like they took AP Calc, and they skipped first semester calculus. And then they got into second semester calculus and they sucked at it, right? Because they didn't do math for like 8-9 months and then went straight back into it, you know? And it's not like it's easy math. You did complicated math. You did well enough that you got to skip it for like 4 months, but now you have to do it again.
Okay.
You know? So I got into like my first calculus midterm and I was talking to people, it's like, oh yeah, that was pretty easy, I think. They're like, oh no, the hell it wasn't. I didn't take one before this. Yeah. You know? Because by that point I had taken 3 math tests. Right. But it was their first one. So they like flat on their face because they didn't know what it was like.
Dang.
And for context, my math tests were 4 questions each. And I got an hour.
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah, it's like that. And you know what's worse? The first 3 questions take half an hour. The last question takes the other half.
But is it like a bunch of parts in each question?
No,
it's just
it's one part.
One answer.
One part. One answer.
One answer.
One answer. Maybe some of them had two. I'll say that.
How many steps did you have?
Bro, calculus is a different monster.
That's why I didn't ever touch it.
And then, not only that, second semester I had a new type of math that I've never taken before.
Interesting.
They, you do algebra in, grade 9, right?
Okay.
And then you get into university and they're like, okay, now you're going to do linear algebra, which is using, you're using, 5 equations at the same time to solve for a ton of different variables, which is insane to me.
That would boggle my mind way too much.
And then that, you start getting into, you know how there's, 1D, 2D, 3D? You have to start solving equations in 6-dimensional space, or up to it's insane, dude.
It's his first year.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? I pulled an 89 out of that somehow.
Wow.
Because they had this weird ass grading scheme where their final is either with 65% or 50%, depending on which one's better for you, and then they just take your best midterm as 15. And I got 100% on the first midterm, because the first midterm, I'm not going to lie, was light as hell. My professor for that class was a traditional Chinese guy who immigrated to Canada, and his entire gimmick was he'd sit in class and tell us about how easy we have it, because he grew up in China. I kid you, I'm going to give you a direct quote. You ready? Okay. We were learning word problems, third week. He's like, this is my favorite word problem from when I was 9 years old fishing by the river. And he starts talking about this word problem that takes first year university linear algebra involving donkeys and chickens. And then he's like, this is so easy. He solves it on the board. None of us knew what he was doing. At all. None of us.
Yeah, I could never do that, dude.
You know what's funny here? He wasn't allowed making any questions on any of the midterms. For good reason, because he would have put on his favorite word problem from grade 12, I guess, and then everyone would need 4th year university math. That man was something else. Eugene Lee.
So, profs are very hit or miss?
Hit or miss, completely. And the thing, there's a website called Rate My Prof, where you can look at every single professor from every university around the world to see how they've been rated. And I had profs that range from 1.7 stars all the way up to 4.9. And I can confidently say that website works.
It's accurate.
That is accurate as hell. And then there's comments you can read as well. It's so yeah, I'd say because the thing with the university is you're allowed switching classes. Yeah. You're only allowed switching classes in the first 2 weeks. So my advice, I didn't do this first semester, and I really should have for chemistry, is you go to your first week of classes, you look at Rate My Prof to see what your profs are rated, and you switch into a better one if you can, if you want to, right? Because you have to set yourself up. Because the thing with high school is you go to a counselor and you tell them what you want, and they try to set you up for what would fit you best.
Right.
University, you have to do that yourself, right? So you have to make sure that you take every step to be as prepared as possible. And honestly, that was the key to my success for second semester and my first year overall, getting a high enough average for my program. Because if you don't set yourself up for success, you're screwing yourself over. You can't blame anyone but yourself. You can be mad at your profs all you want, but you're the reason you're in that class.
This is why I need to have you on, bro. This is some good advice for you.
I got solid advice for first year. Honestly, for engineering specifically, I can't speak to other programs, but honestly, first year university, hardest year of every year university you're going to take, even graduate degrees, right? You're learning how to transition into your new working style. You're learning how to live on your own. Yeah. Depending if you go away or not, but honestly, I recommend going away. It's good to learn that little bit of independence. Yeah. Doing my own laundry taught me more than on school did, I swear. Anyways. But you go away, you're learning how to live on your own. First year, the most difficult year. A lot of engineers say it's second year because it's your first year of specialty, because first year engineering is general.
Okay, got you.
So, but it's first year, you're learning how to make friends. You're learning how to balance your work and your life. You're learning how to participate in more activities, because high school, kind of everything's laid out in front of you, right?
Yep.
They're by the way, guys, volleyball tryouts are this week. By the way, you can do jazz band now. It's so high school is everything's put straight in front of you, and you have to kind of pick and choose what you want. University, you got to go looking for that. It's walking into a Costco and trying to find one box of cereal. You have to go figure out what aisle you're in. You got to figure out what box you want. You got to so it's really like you have to do everything yourself all of a sudden.
So it's just a very big transition.
It's the biggest transition is independence.
Yeah.
So I everything is your fault if it doesn't go your way. Unless obviously it's like there's some scenarios where it's not like something you can't control, but like if your teammates aren't doing like the group project, you didn't tell your teacher, your fault if you get a bad grade. If you didn't switch classes into a better one, your fault. If you didn't like try your hardest for or like study properly for a midterm or a final, you did badly and you failed the class, your fault. During final season, second semester, first semester, final season, first semester I had 5 classes for context. I put in 14 hours a day for a month of studying, right?
No thanks.
Second semester, I'd put in 6 hours a day. I did better second semester with 7 classes than I did first semester.
Huh.
It's all figuring out how you need to do it, right? Like second semester, I downloaded an app, blocked all social media off my phone for like a specific time period of the day. I'd spend that time period studying, and I'd show up, and you have to prioritize which ones are more important. I had one class, mechanics. I ended with a 92 in that class, but it's a miracle that I did because I got a 58% on that midterm, right? And this is another thing that's your fault if you don't like do it. I'm gonna get to what it is, but I got a 58% on the midterm. Midterm was worth 30% of my grade. Final was 60% of my grade. That's the other thing you got to get used to. All of a sudden, tests aren't worth 20% anymore. They're worth 90, right? So you gotta like the hardest part is you need to perform in the 4 hours of performance that they require out of the entire year, right? Like my finals were 2.5 hours each. My midterms were 1 hour. So you have 5.5 hours of the year that dictate your grade, basically.
Dang, okay.
So it's like you have to really switch your mindset from like you need to work consistently to you need to practice consistently, kind of. So I'm like, for my final season, I studied for 2 weeks for mechanics because I was at like a 70% after that final. That was 58%, and my finals were 60%. And I talked to my teacher. This is the other thing. We were in a small school, right? We could make personal connections with your prof or with our teachers through going to class.
Right.
University, you know what I did? Sat in the front of every lecture hall, made conversation with my profs before class. You suck up to them as much as possible because it really pays off. I went to my mechanics teacher after that midterm. I'm like, I'm really worried about my grade. I need this average to get into my program. I was wondering if there's any way I could make up for that midterm or kind of mediate the grade, right? She came back to me with an offer. She said if I got above a 90% of my final, she would match my midterm grade to my final grade. So I studied for 2 weeks for this class. You know what happened while I was studying? Come to find out, they forgot to mark a page in my midterm. I lost out on 25% on that midterm because they didn't mark a page and I didn't check if they marked it.
Wow.
Yeah. I was lucky enough that they remarked it. And the thing is that after you write a test, you have a certain time period where you can request a regrade. I was lucky that they didn't, like, they considered the mess up big enough that they, like, forgot about the regrade period being passed.
Okay.
But if you say, like, you have a math final or, like, a math midterm that's worth, like, 15% of your grade, and you get a 43%, and you're so upset about, this is what happened with me with my midterm, you're so upset about it that you don't want to look at it. Like, I shoved it in the bottom of my bag, and I felt sick anytime I saw that paper. If you're so upset you don't look at it, and you don't look at what you did wrong, and you don't see that they did something wrong, it's your fault that you lost that percentage. The TA might have messed up when they were marking it, but it's your fault that you didn't see they messed up.
Dang.
So the entire switch from high school to university is everything that was done for you is 100% on you now.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's the hardest part for people, because I had friends who were like from Calgary and from like the island and stuff, and they did okay. Like they got the percentages they needed for their second year program, but they completely struggled with the fact that they had to be accountable for their own stuff now because they were so used to other people doing it for them.
So it's kind of like everything you kind of expected university to be, or is it?
I expected, this is going to sound really hypocritical from me, I expected it to be harder.
Yeah.
I, like, you know me, I was an academic in high school, right?
Of course.
I was an academic and a sports guy. But so I expected to go from like, I had a 98% average when I graduated. I expected to go from that to like a 70. And like I did drop down by 14%, right?
Yeah.
But like I expected a lot worse. So as long as you go, this is gonna sound super bad, but go in with a mindset of it's gonna be worse than it is. Because then when you start doing it and you have this like bad expectation, you start off right.
I think a mindset's very important.
It is 100%.
Because honestly, this year has been better for me than grade 11. I just had a really bad mindset. Now that I'm like more like even just in math, like I want to be here, you know, like I actually am enjoying it. So if you can enjoy it and have at least a mindset or discipline, even if you don't enjoy it, but discipline, it can help you a lot.
Discipline, man, discipline. That's like my friends went out and partied the day before like a final or like a midterm. I'm like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you do that? They're like, because I'm done studying. I'm like, you can never be done studying. You can just be more prepared. There's not like a cap on being prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, there kind of is. There kind of gets to a point where like you're studying and you're not learning anything. You're kind of just like pushing through it and you're getting things wrong. And when you get to that point, my rule is like I study until I start getting things consistently wrong, and then I go to bed.
Interesting.
It's like because like you start out fresh, right? You're like, this is like I can do this. You get something wrong, you check it, you do it better the second time. But you get to a point where you're so tired, you're overlooking things, and then it starts messing up.
Yeah.
And then it's like, at that point, you know, like you're cooked. You need to go to bed because you can do better the next day.
Yeah, that's because you just kind of like, or you're confident. Oh, okay, I know this. Yeah, exactly.
No, you got to remember, it's like you could keep studying, and like you need to get your study time in. So like a lot of people have this issue where they think like, I need to keep going because I need to know this. But you also got to remember, if you go to bed earlier, you can get up earlier. You know, and you can keep going when you're awake. You can't keep going when you're tired.
That's true. So, like, would you have a good sleep schedule then, or
no? Just Lord, no. I had got like an average of maybe 5 hours of sleep.
Dang.
There were some nights I went to bed, I got 3 hours of sleep, but honestly, those nights were some of the nights where I woke up the most refreshed.
You know what? It's weird sometimes. Sometimes like little sleep can actually. It wouldn't even that bad.
It's because your body's so like it's so relieved. It's like, oh my gosh, we got to sleep. Then you wake up, you're like, this is like better.
Yeah.
You know?
I never thought about that actually. Holy
I have some like if I sleep more than 10 hours, I feel like absolute waste the next day, you know?
For sure.
It's like you wake up and you're like you feel like you're still asleep. And then like there's a weird area where like you sleep 5 to like 6.5 hours and you still feel terrible.
Yeah.
I feel like between like 6.5 to like 9 even.
There's a sweet spot.
Yeah, you feel good after that. Yeah. And then like there's a specific really small time gap where you get minimal sleep and you feel really good.
Yeah.
And it's because you're relieved to get that sleep. But you have to be tired enough to want it.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah, like, if I could go back and do something better, it would be my sleep schedule.
Yeah. I feel like that was always going out the window, though, for anyone.
Oh, hell, first year especially.
Yeah.
No, but, like, first year also, it's, like, from my advice, obviously you have to keep and, like, take it with a grain of salt depending on what you're going into. Yeah. Because, like, I had 12 classes this year. They wanted me to take 13. I told them, no, we'll take another one next year. Because next year I have 7 classes, but my program's kind of set up weird where they want me to take 7 classes second year, but they want me to take 13 third year. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to take 2 classes from third year, put it into second year. And then at least I have like 10 and I have 11, you know, which is still lesser than first year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you have to take what I say with a grain of salt because not everyone goes into engineering. And like, that's the other thing. Engineers are known for having that ego, right? Saying like, oh, we're the best degree. You arts and business students suck, right? And I'm like, well, I will say I may have engaged in a little bit of that in a joking manner. Yeah. It's like, I can't honestly say that my degree is harder than others because everyone finds different things hard, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, for me, I find like, I hate English. I'm so glad that my last English class ever was this year. Because I cannot for the life of me sit down and read an article and go, man, I love what I'm doing right now. It's like the last thing I would ever want to do. But some people sit down, they read an article, and they're genuinely interested. And I can respect that, but I can't do that. But some people sit down and they look at math and they don't have fun. I have fun when I do math.
That's really good.
You know?
That's really good.
So that's like another thing you got to remember is like so many people find so many different things difficult and like they have different talents and they have different things that they enjoy.
Yeah.
That like you can't say your degree is like better or more important. It might be more important in some aspects.
Yeah.
Like if I say like I can't realistically say that like someone with like a painting degree contributed as much to the development of a building as I did. But like I can say that they really contributed to maybe the culture of like somewhere or like people, or
Mm-hmm.
So it's like different things have different importance, right? We wouldn't be anywhere if we didn't have music. Musicians aren't paid as much as an engineer is. I'd think like I'm biased because I like both of them, but I think musicians should be paid more.
Same thing with me saying teachers, eh?
Yeah, teachers should be paid more. That's what I'm like. Sure, they get really great benefits, but like the impact they leave on you, really, I think they should get paid based off their like. I think you should at the end of the year, each teacher should have like a performance grade from the students, and they should be paid based off of that.
The bonus salary?
Hell yeah, that's what I'm because there's some teachers like I have a friend in Salmon Arm, and she's doing track and field, and her teacher literally has done zero coaching. All she has done is berate her and tell her that she sucks. I'm like, that's not a coach. That's like a supervisor.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's just you need a bit of a connection. So do you like still do music then?
Oh yeah. I like compose a bit on like I compose in my room. I like still play guitar. I still practiced with like I did jazz club. Like so I did a decent amount of my hobbies. I played volleyball every now and again. There's like that you have opportunities in university, you need to find them though.
Yeah.
I could have played on the UBC track team. I could have tried out for like rec volleyball, which was like every Saturday. It was like competitive games. I didn't because I wanted to lock in, but I might next year. And like there's design teams, like there's engineering competition teams, and I'm gonna do that next year. I didn't this year because I wanted to lock in, but like I kid you not, they make rockets, they make race cars, they make bicycles, like and like electric ones that are like competitive, like F1 cars. There's literally an engineering team that makes electric F1 cars, and they go and race them.
That's awesome,
bro. I wanted to participate in that. I just didn't have time this year.
So it's really like first year really lock in, hey, and then
I'd honestly say that's my advice. First year, you go as hard as you can, so that you can honestly say that you did your best to set you up for the future. And then as soon as you get into like, for engineering especially, it's like once you get in your program, you're in your program. You don't have to keep performing. You just need to like, the catchphrase in university is C's get degrees. So as long as you're in and you can't, there's no risk of being kicked out, you can lay back. But like as whenever you need to prove yourself, you need to be able to like actually prove yourself. You know.
So like this year, you kind of feeling you're gonna chill out a bit more, because you said like your friends are out party, like you didn't do much partying then, or any at all.
I think my biggest issue is I had like a good set of friends here, and like I knew a lot of people. I think the other thing, this is something that I need to work on, and that like I really didn't do well, is you need to be able to dissociate your life before to your life now. Because my issue is when I was out trying to make friends, I was trying to make my old friends. I wasn't trying to make new ones, It's like everyone's different, but I'm like out here, I'm looking for Ryder, and I'm looking for Finn, and I'm looking for Jordan, But like they're not there, they're up here.
Right.
So you got to be able to make people who like sure share the same values and like you care about just as much, but you can't be looking for the same people.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tough.
It is for sure. It is tough as hell. And I always considered myself to be a super social person, and I still do, but it's just like when there's 67,000 people in front of you and you have to try and pick and choose who you want to talk to. That's when it gets scary.
So no, go ahead.
It's a ton of new experiences. I'm glad for new experiences. I tried so many foods this year that I didn't expect. That's the other thing. Dorm food is fire, bro. It is so good. So many people underrate it. It's not even funny. I kid you not, they made me chicken shawarma. I ate so much Indian food this year. It's not even funny. They had South African food there. I didn't know that would be an option. They had a custom food grill where you would tell them what you want in like a rice bowl, and they'd cook it in front of you on like a hibachi style Japanese grill.
Wow.
Bro, dorm food can be so good. They have on-demand soda, they have chocolate milk, they have like desserts, like a dessert bar. It's so, like, I loved it so much. You can eat anytime you want. That was probably the best thing for me because I'm a fat ass when it comes to food. I loved it. There was like, you learn what dorm food you like specifically. You learn what days they serve what. and then you know what to eat on what days.
You love that, eh?
Bro, it was so good. It's not even funny. All 3 of the dormitories served butter chicken on a specific day. I knew which one was best, and I didn't eat the other 2.
That seems like fun. Figure everything out, huh?
Bro, you learn so many systems when you're living there for 8 months. It's like, I don't know, it was sick. There's some things I wish I learned earlier. Like, I never ate shawarma until I went to Vancouver, and now I know I love shawarma. And there's obviously like more technical things, like learning. Like, I know how I the best learn now, and I know that I can't study in groups. But honestly, like, not only do you learn so many things about like your education, but like, not like how you live.
Yeah.
You know, like for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be eating shawarma now. Like, that's so good, and that's not something I ever would have done before. And I honestly think that like moving out of your house contributes so much to that, because like if you stay in your town, sure, it's cheaper on expenses. I paid $14,000 for my food and my housing alone this year.
Dang.
And like, sure, I would have saved $14,000 had I stayed here, but I would not have gained like the life experience that I have now. You know, I know how to live on my own. I know how to organize my like stuff. I learned a ton of things I like now. I had to organize how to get around places.
Yeah.
Like, you learn so many life skills as soon as you leave that, like, I was afraid to leave my house because I didn't think I'd be able to do that. But like, you always underestimate yourself, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a common thing, I think.
Yeah.
My
advice is like, you're always capable of a little bit more than you think, and that little bit never caps itself off. So it's just like, you got to build up. Like, if you're not like confident, like you have to think like, I can do a bit more. Do a bit more, and then after that bit more, there's still a bit more. And it just keeps building up until like you're like up here, you're like confident as hell, but you can still do more.
Yeah.
You know, I could have studied more this year. I wouldn't have had any life if I did. But like, I could have. There was always a little bit more, but there's always a limit to where you should stop.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, you gotta like that. Finding that limit is really like dependent on what your goals are.
Right. No, that's great, dude. Has it like gone like fast? Like you said 8 months you were gone?
I feel like I wasn't gone.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And like, I spend a lot of time missing like people, like missing my girlfriend, missing my friends, like missing my family, right? Missing the band, missing sports. But at the same time, like, you can't be so focused on missing things that you miss out on things. You know?
That's a good. Holy, okay. That was good.
I work on my inspirational quotes sometimes. No, but like, there's like, every university has their own things that like you just need to know what to follow, and like, especially like social media accounts, super important. So you need to know what to follow. You need to know where to go. I participated in the engineering Christmas caroling this year. And that sounds wild, right?
So many things, bro.
I literally like I kid you not, I have videos of it. I want to say good 500 engineers marched through the entire campus, disrupted multiple different classes, by the way. It was funny as hell. And the engineering band was there. I got my tenor sax. I walked with the band. I haven't played with the band at all. I just played by ear. And we walked around campus. We interrupted as many classes as possible, just playing Christmas songs and singing. And it was hype. It was sick. And there was chariot races. There was beer drinking competitions. I dominated those, by the way.
Really?
Bro, I'm so good at boating, which is beer on a table. That's what the competition's called. But like, it's not even funny. I think my best record was I drank a whole cup. We did that time, like, it was with water mostly because they don't want the first year's drinking. But like, my best record was I drank a whole cup of water and I think 3 seconds flat. And I mean like this, like a good cup, like 250 mils. So you just gotta like, there's so many things you learn and experience that's just like, it's so much. I'd say it was worth the $14,000 moving away. You know?
Because it's a lot more than I thought you'd have to say, honestly.
Well, it's like, maybe I didn't participate in much more than I did like in high school, right? But I learned a lot more.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
It's good to take your time for yourself, right? So
hell yeah.
That's
sometimes like, I had this one friend, his name's Sam. Loves Sam to pedalin'. Shout out. But like, he'd come knocking on my door at 2 a.m. because he damn well knows I'm still studying at 2 a.m. and he'd be like, you got to stop studying or go for a walk. And then go for a half an hour walk around campus.
Sweet.
The black of night, it was so sick. The thing about UBC is it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is so green there. Like, especially like they have hundreds of cherry blossom trees on campus. So as soon as spring hit, the entire campus was pink. It looked like I was walking through like one of those like Chinese movie sets. It was crazy.
That just sounds so nice. Like, yeah, sure, a lot of studying, a lot of time like spent in class, but so much time also like just in campus or just having time with friends. That sounds just like
there was
really see that.
There was a ton of races. There was a ton of sports competitions. You just need to know where to participate.
Yeah.
And you have to branch out. You can't stay on your own. Because as soon as you stay on your own, that's when if you listen to people and they're like, university was the worst time of my life. I felt so alone. I couldn't connect to anyone. The profs didn't care about me. It's like, maybe some of it is like not your fault, but at the same time, you can always do something about it. You know?
Yeah.
I started out the year, I'm like, I had like almost no friends. I was so alone. I was just locked in. And eventually I came to this point where I'm like, I need to branch out. Like, right? Like, I can't be stuck sitting here on my own in my room, just like drinking Gatorade and doing math. Because like, as much as drinking Gatorade and doing math is good sometimes for you, but Gatorade, debatable if it's good for you, but like, you have to live a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Everyone I talked to was like, wow, I really didn't like first year. All I heard from them is that they didn't live. Right? It's like my quote on the wall, like in the band room. It's like, you gotta, like, music helped me live, but you gotta live overall, man.
You know, they want to paint those.
I know.
walls.
I told McGarry, if you paint over my quote, I'm gonna come to your house. I know where you live. No, I wouldn't actually be mad at him about it because I know why he wants to, but it's like, I was so happy in grade 7 when they said I could write on the wall when I graduate.
For me, it never was that big a deal, but I guess, I don't know.
You put that thing up there and you stand back and you look at it and you realize that quote represents your last 5 years.
Yeah. Which also felt so quick, by the way.
Yeah, like, the high school flew, dude. Especially going through COVID. Like, I thought it would take a lot longer.
Yeah. Well, especially going through grade 12, bro. It's May. How is it May?
That's what I'm saying. Grade 12 flew fastest. But, like, I don't know. There's a lot of people I talk to where they're like, I want to get out of high school so fast, right? And I mentioned that in my grad speech last year that I had to do because of valedictorian.
Yeah.
But, like, there were so many people, it's like they suffered through high school and they didn't want to be there. And that's totally fair. Mm-hmm. But you also realize when you graduate, that's like, you spent so much time there that it's weird not to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I walked into the high school the other day, and like, I was dodging all the teachers so they didn't see me.
Really?
Well, that's when I like showed up to band and shit, or second semester, right? I don't know if you were there that day, actually.
I was there, I just wasn't in class, I think.
Maybe. No, anyway, so
I remember you guys were, maybe it was like...
I was there first semester, and I know you were there. But like second...
No, I remember you came.
Yeah. I showed up once both semesters during reading break.
Yeah.
But like, I dodged the teachers, and then I came into the office afterwards because McGarry was like, you gotta go sign in, man. I can't let you just walk around here, otherwise I have to report you. I'm like, shit, I'm not gonna put your guys' jobs at hazard then, I guess. So I went in, and the office ladies were like, they were still nice. They're like, we really want you here, but you do know it's a closed campus. You're not allowed to be here unless it's lunch. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like, there's still this weird thing for me where like I show up and like I feel like I should go there, right? But like I know I shouldn't at the same time. I don't know. I just miss it. I miss all of you guys. I miss walking around the hallways with my friends, and like I can still do that, but everyone, like, I don't know. You leave high school and you realize how busy life actually is.
Yeah, honestly, for me, life has really been pretty calm. So I'm kind of scared for that change, to be honest. But I think it'll be a good one for me.
I've given a lot of advice, obviously. I don't know how long this episode is gonna be, but
dude, I got time.
All right, but like, if I were to say something, don't be too afraid of the things you're afraid of to like go towards them. That's a really convoluted way of saying it, but like, if you're constantly living in fear, then you're not going to be living, right? It's scary, like graduating. I was scared of graduating. It's scary moving on. Scary attending your first day of lectures at university. It's all of it's scary. It's scary deciding if you want to go to university or take a gap year, right? everything in life is scary, especially when it's the first time you're doing it.
Yeah.
But if we didn't do things for the first time, like we wouldn't have hobbies, we wouldn't be soloing in jazz, right? I feel like soloing was something that kept me alive because it was the time that I could like show myself and how I play, right? Even in university, soloing stayed consistent for me. It's like if you're constantly living in fear, you're not learning how to live at all, right? You can't be so afraid of what might not be that you stop what will be.
Yeah. I really have been just like, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, I think.
Hell yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good line.
So.
Oh, that's so true though.
Is that, you kind of relate to that? Have you?
Every one of my classes had 400 people in it, right? I'd sit in the lecture hall, and I'd be sitting at the front of the lecture hall, and the teacher, like, you think that people or high school teachers ask a lot of questions in class that they want the students to answer. You should wait till you get to a university class. I'd sit in the front of physics, and the teacher would literally go, "Why do we think this is happening?" And you have to be confident enough to put your hand up in front of 400 people and give your answer, and that there's a chance the teacher says, "Not quite," and moves on to the next person. Right? That happened to me way too many times this year. But I can honestly say no one remembers it.
Yeah.
No one remembers, like, unless you're sitting next to your friends and they mock you actively for it, which they won't because that's also them, right? Like, no one's going to walk by you the next day and go, "You're the dumbass who got that wrong."
Yeah.
They're going to go, "You're the guy who tried," if they even remember you at all, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot different, hey? Would you describe, like, is high school better for you or university better for you?
I don't think that's a fair comparison. I'm going to be real.
No?
I don't think you compare the two.
No.
I don't, like, it's going to sound really weird to say, but I feel like I really, like, ruled my high school life, right? Like, I was really in control of that, and I tried really hard. I was a sweat.
You're confident, too.
Hell yeah. Right? I did, like, everything, like, right? Like, I competed provincially for track and field. I did volleyball. I did band. I was really strong in academics to the point where I was valedictorian. And, like, high school is, like, the time for me, but I don't think I would go back to it if I meant getting out of university, because at the same time as, like, some parts of university sucked. I hate being alone. I was alone sometimes, right? Like we've just said, you can't be so afraid of new things that you don't do new things, right? And high school was really good for me. It was really good to me, but you can't stay in that safe space forever. And I think that's where people get stuck.
Yeah.
Like, you hear those people, it's like, "Oh, you peaked in high school," right? Like, that stereotypical guy that walks onto the football field in every movie and is like, "What's up, coach?" And they're like, "You graduated 5 years ago, move on," right? It's like, and there are people who are like that, legitimately, who are just like, they get out of high school and they just go straight to the place they've been working for 2 years because they don't want to go do something new. And as fair as it is to be afraid of that, it's like, that fear is going to hold you down, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to be tied down to, like, what you used to be to stop what you can be. Like, I don't think I mentioned this, but, like, in all my interviews and, like, every video I had to record for, like, my program, I want to do second semester or my second year program, like, engineering physics is one of the highest renowned university degrees you can get. And all they do is, like, they create new technology stuff. So I want to, in the past, like, the program's been running since, like, 1930. And in the past, I think 25 years, it's sprouted 50 companies, successful companies, that the students have run while being in school, right? Dang. And they've made a major difference in the world. One of them, like, the founder of the program runs this company called Boreal Genomics, and they just they research, like, biological technology that can help with, like, disease and stuff.
Dang.
Right? So this is, like, a program where you can make a proper difference in the world. Like, I know, like, there's another company that was sprouted from the program who has made, like, cancer treatments, and there's one called Microsemi who makes, like, microchips for different devices and stuff.
Wow.
And, like, it's stuff that's, like, real time advancing the world, and that's something, like, I want this is gonna sound really stupid, right? But I always told my friends, like, when I was not little, but, like, in high school and stuff, that my goal for my life is that I want to be remembered enough that when someone searches my name on Google, I have, like, one of those bars that pops up that says my name, says what I am, you know? And it's not because that makes you important. It's because I want to make enough of a difference that people can think of something and I'm relevant to it.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like anyone would want that, no? I mean,
Yes.
it depends, but like
some people
I think
don't want
I've
to be
always
known.
wanted, yeah.
Some people want to make a difference, but they don't want to be known.
Yeah.
And I guess at some level, it can be considered selfish that I want to be known for what I accomplish, but I want to make enough of a difference that it's fair to be known, you know?
Mm.
I want people to look at me and go that guy can help, because honestly, like, there's so many famous people now that like you hear about them and you know they have like a ton of money, and there's some people that I'm like, you're not living up to your potential. We all know Elon Musk had a recent downfall, right? But I'm like, that's the richest man in the world. What is he doing for the world? Sometimes, you know, it's like you're making electric cars. That's good, I guess. You're traveling to space, but I'm like, if I had his money, like I want to open like charities, and I want to open like, I want to plant trees to help with like the environment and global warming and stuff. And I want to like, there's so many things I can think of that I want to do, and I want to help people, that I'm like, if I can do that in any way possible, whether I'm known or not, I want to be able to do it. And that's kind of where my entire inspiration for this degree came from. Is like, in every interview I've told them, like, I want to make enough of an impact in the world that I can I can confidently say that I left this world better than I found it.
It's a really good goal to have, and like that's actually really moving too. Holy.
I don't know. I grew up like, this was partially a sob story I used for my program, but like I was an immigrant, right? I immigrated here when I was 2.5. I can't say I remember the immigration, but I can say I remembered watching my parents cry at the dinner table about how they're gonna like pay for our rent, or like watching my dad work in Fort McMurray for 8 years to try and afford a house for us to buy, and he succeeded in that. We own a house now, right? And watching my parents grow up struggle like that, and they did nothing but give me the opportunities that they didn't have otherwise. I want to do that back to give that back to other people. I don't want to sit here and be like, my parents struggled, I'm free now, thanks guys. I want to sit here and go, my parents struggled so that I can help other people who are struggling.
It shapes you.
Yeah.
Makes you sick a teacher. Parents are probably even more so influential with everything, right? So,
oh yeah, and the issue with parents is that they're so influential that they can be influential positively or negatively.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who had some pretty shitty parents, and I sit there and I think I think the world and the universe every day. I'm like, I had good parents.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has their improvements they can make, but I think they did the best they could.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm honestly, I thank them every day for like, I'm working for my parents now, and I'm making good money that I'm gonna need next year. And I think that like, there's like, you have to be realistic about some things in life, and I think they really contributed to that.
I was gonna ask. We don't have to talk about like financially though. Is it like, are you like good? You think?
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
But back then I wasn't. Like, we first, like, I'll give you a little bit of backstory on it. But like, we immigrated to Canada. It's like, my dad was an electrician, and he tried to be an engineer, but like, he dropped out, and his dad kicked him out of the house after he dropped out because he didn't think he told my dad directly, like, you're never going to amount to anything in life. Right? And like, they made up after that, but like, still, that's like imagine hearing that from your parents.
Yeah.
It's like, you fail at something, you fall down, that's when you need them, and they tell you you're useless, right? That's not how I want to be as a parent either. Like, that's something that I want to do one day, but that's not how I want to be. So it's like, you fall down, you're supposed to be picked up, and he, like, for years didn't go to like any sort of post-secondary or anything until he realized one day, it's like, I should probably do something, right? So he went and did electrical because the government was willing to pay for it for him because they needed electricians. And then Canada, like, in 2008, was like, they posted something online or something, and they're like, hey guys, we need more electricians in this country. If you want to immigrate, we'll help you immigrate. So then it's like easier, right? So we immigrated to Canada from South Africa in 2008. No, it was 2.5. Was it 2000? I think it was 2008. And then we got here, and my dad was working for this company called Horizon, which is like one of the big electrical companies, right? And in South Africa, there's no such thing as being laid off, right? You have a job or you don't have a job. But in Canada, you can get laid off where it's like, hey, we don't have work for you for 3 months. Go do nothing. We're not going to pay you, right? So we got here. My dad was working. Very first Christmas ever, and you got to keep in mind that we were like upper middle class South Africa. We moved here. The issue is that the rand, which is South African dollar to Canadian dollar, 13-1.
Dang.
So all our money got divided by like 30. I think it was like still like 11 back then, but still, imagine like the amount of money you have in your bank account gets divided by 11, right?
That's insane.
Like, so you get here, you have to rent in the Canadian housing economy, firstly, with that amount of money. You have to work, and like you're making more money now than you were there, but like, so we come here, we have almost no funds, we have to buy new furniture, we're renting an apartment, blah, 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 blah. Very first Christmas, we get to December, and Horizon calls my dad and like, hey, we're laying you off, we don't have work for you. So now we're in Canada, we have no way of getting money, we have to pay rent, and there's Christmas. I was like 3 by that point. So it's not like I would have remembered if I didn't have Christmas gifts, but there was no money for Christmas gifts for like the next 4 years if my grandma didn't buy me Christmas gifts.
Dang.
Right? So it's like we were pretty like down there, like bordering homeless some months, because it was like there's some months where we're just like praying to be able to pay rent, right? And then my dad's like eventually like we worked our way up to the point where like we were like renting like a house and we were consistent. I think I lived in that house for like 7 years. And then my dad and my mom sat down and they're like, this is a decision we don't want to make, but my dad went up to like northern Alberta to go work in the oil fields because we needed that like like 150 grand a year to be able to save up for a house or a down payment on a house even. So for like 6 years of my life, I only saw my dad for like 2 weeks at a time, and then he'd be gone for like 2 weeks and 2 weeks at a time. And he worked at like Logan Lake, which is like northern BC, and then like Fort McMurray, and then like a couple different places, northern Alberta, northern BC, where it's like pretty consistently like he'd be away for 2 weeks, and sometimes he'd be back for 1 week, and then he'd go back for 2 weeks away. And what made it even harder is my dad has a heart condition, right? So some weeks he'd be gone and we'd be like, we don't know if he's coming back because he's in the hospital right now and he's in northern Alberta. Dang. So it's like, and I'd grow up and I'd like, my mom was the only one I could really rely on because it was like me, my mom, and my brother. And it's not like I couldn't rely on my dad, but like I can't, if I'm getting bullied at school, I can't go to my dad when he's in Fort McMurray and be like, hey dad, this is happening, because he's away, right? So I kind of like, not only did like I grow up like with only my mom, but I kind of felt like I grew up almost alone because like I felt bad trying to pressure my mom with that because she's raising 2 kids and I can't tell my dad things. So it's like I dealt with everything on my own. So eventually got a down payment on the house. We're still living in that house. Love that house. It's worth almost double what we paid for it now. So appreciating value. So anyways, so it's like we're doing fine now. My dad's running his own business. I'm working for him. But like we really built our way up from the ground. Or like they built my way up from the ground even. I'm the first person in my family to go to university.
Yeah.
Ever.
You're doing great, clearly.
I'm doing the best I can, man. So it's like, and my brother's well on his way to join me. He's probably going to go into the same degree I am.
Do you feel a bit of like pressure, like you have to do well because of like your parents and everything? Or?
I never felt pressured because of the only thing that really pressured me about my parents is that if I did badly, I'd hear something like, oh, well, next time you could do, like, you shouldn't do that. Or like, I'm like, that's fair, guys, but you really think I didn't know that? Like, it's like, oh, you can't make those stupid mistakes on that math test. You got to read it properly. I'm like, yeah, I'm quite aware. I'm kicking myself already about it. So anyways, my parents never really pressured me about school because they knew I put enough pressure on myself. Because like I did an interview in grade 9 for one of my friends' like video projects. It was like their final, and they had to ask me about like my life and stuff. And like that's when I kind of realized like I pushed myself so hard because I wanted to make the effort my parents went through trying to raise me worth it. And that kind of like bled into trying to leave an impact on the world, like I said earlier.
That's really interesting, dude. Gives you a lot of perspective.
Yeah. There's this saying that my dad likes to quote where it's like, tough times make strong, or like strong people make easy times make weak people, and weak people make tough times, right? Which is kind of speaking to like there's this like generational loop where like one generation will do really well and they'll make it like really, they'll make a lot of money or they'll make life really easy or something.
Mm.
And then as life gets easier, the next generation does like worse because now they don't have to worry as much and they're not doing as well. And it's over and over. And I'm like, my dad went through the tough times and he made the easy times, and I try to live my life so that I don't take those easy times and make worse times. You know, like I don't want those easy times to make me into that weak guy in the saying, because that saying is like my worst nightmare.
Dang.
Yeah, no, my parents drove me to be where I am today, but I'd say that I'm the one that continued that drive.
No, that's really good. I mean, I feel like you've proven yourself already, dude. But
can always do more. That's my attitude towards everything.
I think you will.
I hope I will. I want to be able to I'd love to be like this public figure one day. Like there's so few famous people that I can think of where I'm like, there's nothing negative I've ever heard about them, right? And the few I can think of is like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Never heard anything bad about him other than maybe he took roids. That's not like something that's ever gonna like, you know, ruin your reputation unless you're still in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Like The Rock. Never heard anything horrible about him either. It's like there's so few people that I can think of that's famous that you haven't heard anything bad about, and I kind of want to be one of them.
Mm.
I don't even care. Like I don't like. It sounds like I'm like when I say that, it sounds like I'm being driven by like I want to be popular one day, but it's really not. It's like I want to be like I don't want to be popular because I want to be popular and have a ton of money. I want to be popular because I want people to know that they can rely on me. Like I don't want just like people in my life to know they can rely on me. I want to help more people, and it's that.
And that's really good. You gave examples too, because there really isn't that many people.
Yeah.
So, no, it's really good.
Yeah, I have this entire idea for my future. It's just getting there. It's so
you have it all written down?
Bro, I have the idea for my company. I have the name. I know who I'm going to hire. It's like, I have this entire idea. I can't honestly say that I'm for sure going to go towards that direction, but I know generally where I want to end up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a business for you then, huh?
I want a company one day. I don't know if I'll start it by the time I'm like 30, but like I want to have it. It's going to be called Chimera. And you know how like I don't know how much you know about engineering, but like Lockheed Martin is like the company that makes all like the weapons for like the US and stuff.
Yeah.
So like they're a weapons company. They're like the #1 engineer hire for like in the world. And like I don't want to contribute to people dying. So I was like thinking like I'm gonna name the company Chimera. I have a ton of friends in engineering. I want to hire all of them. And it's gonna be like I want it to be like a defense company, like this company that makes like technology for like search and rescue missions and for like natural disaster mediation and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like drones, mechs, just like search vehicles, things like that. Submarines.
So how many years of school do you have left then?
4 minimum. Could be more, depending on how I decide to go about it.
So if it was going to be like the company, like when you make it, would it be after school whenever you finish school then, or you said like
probably
after 30?
But the thing is, like for a company like that, that's like big, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'd start out with a different, like smaller one for like microchips or something. Build your way up, you know.
Right.
You gotta start at the basis. I can't like realistically expect to get into 3rd-year engineering. All of a sudden, I'm making a mech. You know. Like the mech is like an idealized idea of what I want to do because that's like I've always found them cool with like drones and stuff. It's like it's cool, but there is already a market for them. You know, you gotta build your name and then start going.
That's some pretty big ideas.
I got goals. I will hopefully achieve them, but I'm still open to like if it changes. You know.
Yeah.
You got to be aware that life doesn't always go the direction you want. Same way I said earlier, sometimes your future hits you in the face, you don't realize it. Sometimes a new opportunity will hit you and you gotta go with that instead of trying to be stuck in where you wanted to be. Hell, if that was me, I wouldn't be in Vancouver. I'd be in Okanagan and I'd be screwed over like all my friends.
Is it like the same courses here, or is it just
not even?
Bro,
we both had to take coding classes. They're coding an entirely different language from me, and their language like sucks.
Huh.
So it's like I don't know. There's just something off here. It's like they need to figure it out. Otherwise, there's an entire like generation of engineers that's gonna be like a struggling.
I don't even know how different it was at different universities.
Everywhere is like I have friends in University of Calgary, and there's like everywhere is different, man. you got to really like research where you want to go, and you got to really like figure out what you want to do. Did you apply to any university?
No.
Not gap year?
Yeah, for now.
Dude, best way you can go. I'm gonna say that. I'm not of like, if you know where you want to be after high school, go straight into it.
Yeah.
But like, I know so many people that didn't know what they wanted to do, and they just signed up for what they were good at, and they're miserable.
That's why I never wanted to like go anywhere where I wouldn't even know what I would apply for, because like there's just not something I have a goal towards. So like that's why I just want to like work and like figure something out.
No, that's fair, man. Like, all you gotta do is really be open, right?
Yeah.
Like, go to like UBCO and like OC hosts like seminars for like aspiring or people who aspire to do things in the future. So like, or like classes you can take or things like that. So like, if you do research or you like really, I settled in engineering because I always had that goal of helping people, and I was good at math and physics, and I enjoyed it. That's the other thing. You gotta enjoy what you plan on doing.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy it, you're gonna be miserable for your entire life trying to make money.
That's why I just really don't want to mess up a choice, because it is kind of
it's an expensive choice to make too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I never I wouldn't say rush it. I just didn't want to make a big decision like that.
I respect it, and honestly, that's like, it's a good thing to like take your time on.
Yeah.
Because like, I know people who were like, they didn't know what to do. They went to business. They wasted a year in business because they didn't like it. Right? It's not necessarily a waste. You still learn things, but still like, it's good to take your time with it as well. I wouldn't have known what I wanted to do if I hadn't like my original. This wasn't even my original plan for university.
Really?
I was going to go to OC for 2 years, and then I was going to get like, it's like a diploma of science or something, and then I was going to transfer into like UBC or UBC Vancouver. I don't even remember why I wanted to go to OC anymore. But like, I just came to this point where like, I knew what I wanted to do, and I figured that if I go to OC, firstly, I'm just going to waste all the scholarship money I'm getting on a college degree that's going to take me 2 more years to get. And 2, it's like, I have an opportunity now. Sometimes you have to jump on it, right?
Did you have scholarships for this?
I think I just handed another one for 2,500, but I think I got a total of like, I want to say $6,000 in scholarships, which like, kind of wish it was more. I'd work my butt off to get scholarships, but there's not a whole ton of things for men in STEM.
It's not awful though. 6,000 still.
Yeah, and 6,000. I'm not going to complain about it, but it is this thing where like, I paid it first year, but now second year I have to work to get that money.
Yeah.
Know? So, anyways, I don't know. I totally understand why like we're trying to promote diversity in the STEM field, but it can also be a slap in the face sometimes when you're trying to go into like a degree that's like vastly dominated by like people who are similar to you, but now you have no opportunities to get any help, financially at least.
That's why I was like asking if it's like it's better now. You said, or
yeah, no, financially it's fine. It's like, I am on student loans. I have $16,000 in student loans already, so it's like I'm gonna have quite a bit. But the thing is, like, I wasn't too worried about taking loans out for this degree because there's only 2 degrees where you can walk out of university and get paid like the wage you deserve, and that's engineering and medical. So like, I'm gonna walk the median wage for the degree I'm getting is $135,000. That's middle of the line. I think the lower end was around 80. So I can't honestly say I'm gonna be like super concerned about like paying off my student loan debt. It might take a little bit, but like, I have the opportunity to make a lot of money. So anyways, I'm not like, I don't know. I'm gonna have probably a decent amount of debt when I get out of school, but it's like, I'm not that worried about it.
But it seems like you never really worried about the money, huh?
I'm not doing this because I'm making 3 figures, or 6 figures. 3 figures would be horrible. I'm not doing this because I'm making 6 figures. I'm doing this because I want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's some days where I'm sitting in like linear algebra and I was listening to that teacher who makes 0 cents, and I'm like, why am I here again? Like, I kid you not, I fell asleep one class. Like, only once, but still, it was rough. So I'm like, sometimes you sit there and you have to remind yourself why you're sitting there, because even if you want to be there, there's some times where you're in class and you're just totally unmotivated. But you got to remember, that's not a sign that you don't want to be there. It's a sign that you have to give yourself some time to like recover.
Going back to medical, did you ever
I thought about being a doctor,
but it's just not as much of a difference. You think?
I honestly I can't say that because like I said, my dad has this heart issue, and if it wasn't for doctors, like he was one of the first people who had one of like a specific procedure that's common now for his condition, but he was one of the first people that had that tested on him. So it's like, if it's not for doctors, we'd have a lot more issues in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say they don't make the same contribution; they just make a different contribution. Right?
Yeah.
But like my thing was like I hate biology. Hate's a strong word, but biology has never been something that I've been strong in. So it's just I just ruled out doctor from the beginning.
Okay, that's fair.
My dad tried. I remember specifically this conversation in grade 10 when we were signing up for like our classes for the next year. He's like, "All the people in this house will take all 3 sciences." I'm like, "Let me tell you. You always told me that like you want me to do something I'm interested in, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "So why the hell are you forcing me to take a class I'm not interested in?" He's like, he didn't really have a response to that one, so he's like, "Okay, do what you want, I guess." I'm like, "Thank you." So I dropped out of biology as soon as possible.
Yeah, I never did bio either, so I can't even tell you about
bio. My thing is like I'm gonna say this. I've told this to so many people. One of the main reasons I'm good at like math and physics and stuff is that I have this like great, and like music even. I have this really good skill of pattern recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I see a pattern, I'm really good at not only like memorizing it and like using it, but also trying to like rearrange it and reorganize it, which is why like basically just equations in math, right?
Yeah.
Like math equations are just patterns of like how an answer is like given to you. So I was always like really good with stuff like that. But the issue with biology is it's like 100% memorization. And while I have like a pretty good memory, I have a good memory for random things. I don't have a good memory for like things I need to remember.
Okay.
So like I didn't want to be that guy who'd sit in my dorm room and sound insane by reciting the same thing to me over and over and over again. So I figured that biology was not my route because it's the memorization science. I like to call it that and like geology are like the 2 memorization sciences, whereas like chemistry and physics are the 2 math sciences.
I got you, yeah. Cause I have like friends in bio, and it's just like the tests are kind of just you have to just know your stuff. You have to like know what to like I don't know label or like know what everything is.
There was like bio students in my English class, and I just heard them talking about like they had to memorize every bone in the human body. I'm like, that's 300 and something bones. If I remember,
6.
Yeah, 306 bones. You know, babies have more bones than adults. Anyways,
what bone do they lose?
When we're born, our like skull is like not it's fractured, so then it fuses together and we lose it. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, but like I'm listening to them and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to remember where this one is, and this is how I remember this." I'm like, "This sounds horrible. I would never want to do that."
Yeah.
All I got to remember is this one equation, and I can explain the thermodynamics of anything.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot more sense, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, stick with what you're good at and what you enjoy. Like even if you're good at biology but you don't like it, why would you do it? You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been tough for me like figuring out what I like and kind of fixing a career toward that, you know.
Okay, well, what classes have you picked as your electives in high school?
Okay, let's go through. My first semester was pretty easy. I had commercial.
Okay.
I had concert band.
Yeah.
English 12, and then I had creative writing. I basically did AP Passion to Action at first, but I dropped it, so they gave me creative writing. So I had 2 Englishes.
See, AP Passion to Action. What's it called? I think my friend said it last year. It's the one in the Aspen, isn't it? Yeah.
Full year round, you get your English, you get your careers, and you get
the volunteer hours, right?
Is it? I thought it was like a third
social
class
studies. Social studies.
Is it your socials?
You get your socials as well, yeah.
Oh, that was the one thing I was missing out. So, volunteer hours?
I'm pretty sure my friends got volunteer hours out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I dropped it. I don't know why I dropped it. I probably should have stayed in it.
No, I listened to a lot of my friends do it. I'm like, I totally understood why they did it, but I never would have.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
It's basically advanced leadership.
Yeah, no thanks, maybe, actually. And then I took doing foundations right now.
Yeah.
I'm like decent at math, but pre-cal didn't go like great for me. So foundations
That's fine.
Foundations going a lot better for me this year.
Everyone has different skills.
Yeah. What am I? Band still because it's full year.
Yeah.
And then PE, so I dropped out of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Even though like I was always kind of like into being like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And probably still end up there, but like
the class wasn't for you.
It seemed like a useless class.
No, I had a lot of I had a couple friends who took that class, and they were like, "Yeah, this is not what we thought it was going to be. And it's not what I'm interested in." Like,
I think it would have been okay.
Who teaches it again?
It was Schwartz teaching it this year. I think it used to be Ford, but this year it was Schwartz.
Yeah. No, I don't like blame you for dropping.
And it wasn't even against like Mr. Schwartz. Like it wasn't even him. It was I don't know.
Schwartz is cool.
Yeah, I've actually like had for like a long time, since like grade 7.
Yeah.
I think he was my grade 7 teacher, like mainly because you kind of had like the annex experience.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We were the first in the. No, we weren't the first, but we were one of the annex kids. Yeah.
Really? Was it built like that recent?
No, the annex was built when we were in like grade 3. When I was in grade 3, because that's when the grade 7s left the elementary schools.
There was grade 7s, and
there used to be grade 7s in Davidson, Oyama, and Peter Greer.
Dang, now it's all the way back to grade 5 because of the middle school already. Dang,
so there was grade 7s, which is why all the like if you go into the top of the band room, you'll see all those instruments labeled like DRE or like Oyama, and it's because the grade 7s used to be there and they used to have a band program. And then the annex was built, and they moved the grade 7s to the annex. And then there was only grade 6s in the high schools, and now the middle school is built, so now the grade 7s and the grade 6s are in the middle school.
It's part of the reason why the band program is like dying now too, because it's like really the middle school is just not really producing anything.
So. I could go on a rave about that forever, man. It ticks me off so much that we had such a good band program and they killed it.
Yeah, even through COVID, we still like.
Through COVID, we stayed consistently good.
Yeah.
But like middle school just killed that off, man.
Yeah, it really does suck.
Ticked me off of it. I do have faith that McGarry can revitalize it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna he just got his doctorate. It's Dr. Dave McGarry now, which is insane. You should but like so I have like faith that he can like revitalize it, but like right now it's down here.
Yeah.
Which really it made me really sad.
I think it's also because of kind of like social norms almost, or like social it's just like not really
I don't like how the middle schools run at all.
Like even like Rio was talking about how much more commercial is getting bigger.
Yeah,
because it's more of like I don't know, you make your own music, right?
It's you want to be able to sit around a campfire with a guitar. Exactly. You don't want to be able to sit around a campfire with toccata and a clarinet, you know?
Hey, some people will see that as a great thing.
Some people would be like, "Oh, this is sick," and like I'd do that, but like realistically, most people want to be able to write music and sit at a campfire and say that they did this.
I mean, commercial was also just really good. Did you do commercial?
I did it in my grade 11, but it wasn't what it is now.
Okay, so
I tried to do it last year, but it overlapped with chemistry, and then I just couldn't.
Was it that much different? Like, have people like Ryan probably talked to you about it a little bit?
Yeah, no, it was pretty different. When I did it, it was like I used it to compose. So that was
for a band.
Yeah, that's when I wrote like Caesar Frost and Fortune. That's when I wrote A Dastardly Tale. So it's like I used that class to compose.
It's gonna bring me tears, Marnu.
I love that. I actually cried after we played that on the band.
I remember.
It was something else. I still listen to it sometimes. I have a video.
You missed that band trip too?
I missed that band trip. Vancouver was hype.
Vancouver was really good.
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
And now you're back there.
I loved that room too.
Oh yeah, was it you, Ryder, Dom,
and Evan? Yeah.
Oh, Evan wasn't bad. He doesn't do bad anymore.
There was that one guy tripping out of the statue saying how he's God. He's trapped in the statue.
Yo. Oh, that was hilarious. Yo,
Vancouver's filled with. I was at Hastings. I went to Ryder to Invictus games to see Noah Kahan play, and we were walking.
You went with them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They picked me up. It was the day before one of my midterms too. I was like, I would just.
My friends are going out party. I'm gonna go with Noah Kahan.
This is the first time I've ever left before studying, and I don't regret it. So, anyways, so it's like we went out. And then we wanted to go get like some food after. So we walked down Granville Street and like, kid you not, saw like human shit on the side on the sidewalk. I'm like, well, this is crazy. Anyways.
How did you know?
Bro, there's a distinct difference between also I don't think there's any animals on Hastings or Granville. So, you know. Anyways, and I saw plenty of homeless people. But like it just like Vancouver is filled with tweakers. It's not even funny.
Yeah, Vancouver's wow.
We were literally walking back to this car, and like me and Ryder were talking to each other, and there's this homeless guy on like the other side of the sidewalk from us, and he was like, "Why are you looking at me?" And he just got so pissed off, we just like kept walking. We're like, What's going on with this guy? So anyways, we kept walking, and then Ryder's dad flipped him the bird, and we ran.
Yeah, no, that trip was good.
I like I just missed the band, man.
Is that the biggest part you missed? From
That
high
is
school?
the number one. I missed the consistency of being able to play music and being able to play it with people.
Especially the way it was structured. It's like you don't really. I don't think that's ever gonna be a thing that's gonna come back to you at all.
I think it'll be structured. I think I can definitely participate in something similar if I actually join, because I know there's bands I can join. I plan on joining Godava band next year, which is the engineering band. But so there's definitely opportunities for me. But that group of people, man, I enjoyed it. It was fun, and I believe I can find that again. But it's obviously never gonna be the same group.
Yeah.
Especially jazz, bro, Marnu's Minions was peak. That was peak jazz band. I'm telling you, I enjoyed that combo so much more than any other year of jazz.
That was when we went to Kelowna.
Yeah, last year. I enjoyed that way more.
It doesn't even feel too long ago.
No. Shit.
And it wasn't that long ago because I was still driving back then. I only had my N for a year and a half. So
no, I loved that.
You know, it was.
I think about that all the time.
What did we play? We played Scarlet's Tune.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was called. We played that, and then we played that one really classic one. Where it was like an Ellie Parker tune, I think.
I can't remember what we played. What the heck?
I don't remember the name of them. It's like on the tip of my tongue. Oh gosh, damn it!
Remember Harlem Nocturne?
Harlem Nocturne was good, but that was the year before.
Well, me and Evan were just listening to jazz and math. This morning.
Yeah,
that's one of the songs we were listening. It was good. What did we even get for that? We just got a
couple of us got soloing awards. We got some money from it.
Really?
Yeah, me, Zoe, Scarlett, and Cassie, I think, got this certificate. Redeem this for $20. I'm like, sweet. I guess. Anyways, so that was cool. But we did pretty well. I was proud of how we performed. I was especially proud that I didn't squeak on my clarinet solo on Scarlett's tune.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Me and Evan ripped on that. That was so sick.
I really wish there was more people to witness that, because it's kind of a small little room and just adjudication, which is fine, but performing in front of people.
I don't, honestly, what's stopping us from getting that group back together?
Don't tempt me, honey. Honest.
We got the summer. We can go, you know that Kelowna got rid of the license you need to go busk?
Really?
Yeah. What's stopping us from going to busk?
What would be the group though? Our last year's jazz band?
Yeah, we just get Marnu's Minions back together. We go downtown. We play whatever we want.
That'd be kind of fire. I won't lie.
That would be so fire. We just need to get a drum set somewhere. I don't know if Evan owns one.
Okay, so basically our commercial band this year was me, Evan, Nick, and Caden.
Yeah.
But the last month or two of commercial, we kind of did stuff with Nick.
Yeah.
So we kind of it was originally just Idle Boulders, me, Caden, Evan.
Yeah.
But we made a little band called Soul. Yeah. So actually we practiced at Evan's place with Nick's drum set. So he does have a drum set kind of, but it's Nick's drum set.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. And you never had a commercial concert then either? Yeah, we did.
Oh, with Nick?
No, when you were in commercial.
No, I didn't. Evan wasn't in commercial that year. Nick was. I helped him write a couple songs, but I helped Ryder mostly.
Commercial music concert? That was the best part of my high school.
All I'm saying is that I did play with Ryder during the commercial music concert.
Oh, that's right. You played piano, right?
Yeah, I played piano for him.
I don't think I did that. I had to do that year. At grade 11 and grade 12. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
No, those concerts were sick. I wish I could have attended the grade 12 one, but it was mid-final season.
Yeah, no, it's more of a chill.
It's so cool. You get to see what everyone's working on.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some people were just kind of
they're just there.
Yeah, not a diss, but
yeah.
You can see that the grade 12s, especially if they were in that course the year before, you can see that they've just had more experience.
Yeah.
And opportunity.
Well, everyone else will get there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's it's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good because I mean, you and me probably have like performed a lot in front of audiences, right? So it's kind of easier for us.
Yeah.
And that really can change like your confidence and everything toward like So
bro, that feeling of sitting underneath like those theater lights, like sweating your ass off, you feel it drip down your forehead as you're playing like some piece of music. That's like something that's like so unparalleled for like anxiety.
But then afterwards, you kind of miss it, no?
Afterwards, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could go back to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's almost like a rush of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be a 2-hour episode.
I mean, we can end it right now if you want. Like
that's up to you, dude. If you have any more questions for me,
I think you've been talking. Like I really enjoy you that you just talked the whole time. I really appreciate that.
If there's anything you ever like need advice on, man, just like contact me. But honestly, it's like I basically covered my first year. If I wanted to talk more specifically about engineering, I could, but I don't think that really applies.
Yeah, you know? I think you said the good stuff.
Yeah, I think like just like I know this podcast is kind of like so you can branch out and kind of figure out what you want to do with the future, but honestly, don't look too hard. Yeah. Sometimes it's right in front of you. Yeah. Think about classes like if you ever took like a shop class you really liked it, or like there was like some sort of like recording class you really liked, like just go for it. I think sometimes money's not a factor, right?
I think the biggest thing will be like music, not to be like the main thing I do, but at least something I do.
So what I'm saying, like my entire idea is like my second choice was applying to UBC for the School of Music, and my entire like I'm glad I didn't, because the way I'm thinking about it is like I'm doing engineering and I'm gonna make a lot of money. Not only because I'm not only doing engineering because I want to help people, but it's also gonna give me the funds to be able to do things I want to do too, right? Like if I get like an engineering degree, I'll have enough money to buy whatever saxophone I want, or buy that grand piano I've always wanted, learn how to play piano properly.
You know? For sure. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just like
sometimes you got to take a little bit of a sacrifice or a little bit of a bridge to where you want to be.
I think it's needed.
Yeah,
for something.
For real. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I appreciate you a lot for coming on and
of course, dude.
Talking like a lot. Like that was really good.
Yeah.
People were complaining about how Ryder's episode was pretty long, but it's a podcast. It's supposed to be.
You can stop listening whenever you want,
exactly.
guys.
I really don't care if people like listening. It's just.
Yeah, I listened to like half a Ryder's episode.
Yeah, it's mostly to have evidence of me actually doing my capstone project. Yeah. Right? So. Yeah.
But like, it's also like not only is it evidence, but it's like you also get to like branch out.
So much, dude. Like this was really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've really enjoyed this project. It was actually originally supposed to be me and Caden doing it.
Yeah.
But he wanted to do his own thing as well.
That's fair.
So I stuck with it.
Yeah, at least just be a guest speaker sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, if this thing continues, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I'm definitely glad I chose this because it's kind of like you can do whatever, really.
When I heard you were doing it, I was like, "Oh, that's sick. That's a good project." Because when I got my when they told me I had to do a capstone project. By the way, we're the only school that does that.
Yeah.
When they told me I had to do that, I'm like, "Wow, I have no idea what I'm going to do." Originally, I was going to do music composition, and then I realized like I'm doing physics Olympics anyways. I just took one of those projects and I like fixed it, made it better, and then I like showed it to the teachers.
Okay, so that was basically your whole project.
Yeah, I literally whipped it up in a week. Like I'm not gonna lie, I delayed that as far as possible, but like
that's what I'm doing, dude.
Bro, but like this is like proper effort. Like what I did is I sat in my garage and I tinkered with something I had already worked on for like months.
But that's not. You're still learning something though. You still. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like half effort. You still did something.
And you know what? For like the degree I'm trying to get, like I've brought up physics Olympics a lot because they're like highly involved in it. So they're like, oh, you have previous experience, you know?
Yeah, no, it's like good, but yeah, we were the only school that does it, so it's kind of like weird.
It is weird.
I don't like the presentation part of it.
Yeah. Are you doing the district authority or no?
No. I don't really. What's the point for me? I'm not going to school. I'm sure
you might eventually. Yeah. It only expires by like in 2029. I just cashed that in.
I don't know. I really wasn't priority to me.
That's all good.
So
I think you would have gotten it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a crazy project. I hope you realize that. Most people will just whip something up in 2 weeks.
Well, most people already, like you said, you already had something. I think some people already had. Like Connor, he just did skiing. Like Evan was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They've always had that, you know. So they kind of just They've had videos of like that's the tough part. Was like for me is like finding like visual evidence.
What do I have? You know.
Yeah, it's because like
You went with audio evidence instead.
Yeah, I don't know, because a lot of it is like core competency work.
Yeah.
It really wasn't this part I was struggling with. It was like all the work for like actual careers class.
Yeah.
Like that was yeah.
No, but I respected like when I was hanging out with Ryder, like when I got back from uni, because I got back on the 26th. So I think I was hanging out with him on the 28th, him and Finn, and then he told me you're doing the podcast. I'm like, oh wow, damn, that's a good project. I didn't even think about that. And then he's like, you know what, you'd probably be a good guest on that. So then when I picked up Jeff the other day, I don't know if you heard that or not.
No, it's because
I opened the window. I'm like, when am I on the podcast? And then Jeff screamed out the window as well.
I didn't hear you saying it, but yeah, because I was talking about it on Riot's episode too.
Yeah,
no. Honestly, that makes me kind of want to do more of these actually, because I still feel like there's people to talk to.
There's plenty of people to talk to, man.
It's just like it's not a lot of effort, but I haven't done one in like 3 weeks. Yeah. So I kind of just forget. It's kind of in the back of my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like
sometimes you just need to like take some time off and refresh. Yeah. You know?
I really don't know what I'm gonna do with this, if it's gonna keep going or not. But yeah,
you can always mold it in something else. Crime podcast. I listen to a lot of those. You got a listener out of me if you did one of those. Like crime pod, you can keep doing like there's like those TikTok accounts like film people with like the rich cars on like what do you do to make those money? Yeah. Like they make a ton of money because they have like a million views on their likes on their videos. Yeah. Like you have an opportunity with this.
That's why I mean, like, even if this doesn't work out, at least I have experience now. I can like I've always thought about like just being influencer in some like other way.
And how you're getting experience with Spotify. Exactly. That means like if you were to like, I know you've written music before, right? So maybe that's the route you can go down too.
And I think I will.
Yeah.
Like I said, it wouldn't even be the main thing, but even having like little side things like that, not even for the money, but like as you said, like a hobby.
Yeah.
I think it's also really good.
I want to take some audio engineering classes down at UBC.
That's what
learning how to edit.
Yeah, Nick was talking about that today. Because I was asking him, what are you doing after high school, right? Because we're like in careers class, and he's not doing audio engineering, but he was like, why don't you do that? Because you've been in band, like they would accept like anything like that, right?
Dude, you'd kill it.
Yeah.
It's literally like did you do the OC thing where like you went to OC for a day?
The grade 11 did it like recently. I don't think I did that.
So like I did one of the audio engineering course or like short courses there when I did that time, right? And it's like you're literally learning how to use like what are they called? Anyways, like
the big
like the recording interfaces. You're learning like how to record with a microphone, different settings. Like I think you would kill it. And even if you're not recording your own music, you can charge other people to record theirs.
Yeah.
The only thing with that is it takes a lot of money to set up a proper setup.
But like, I don't think it would be like very hard for me to pick it up either. So maybe
you can do that on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can go to like college or something for it, but like you can do it on YouTube.
You get lost when you just find everything.
YouTube's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I post on YouTube as well, so like
YouTube carried my chemistry class. That's all I'm saying.
And now it's AI. Actually, bro, I haven't touched ChatGPT my whole high school career. That's my one flex.
I've touched it in university, so I can't. The thing is, like, I've used it properly. Where like, what the hell? Sorry. I've used it properly where like, I don't use it to just get answers. I use it to explain things.
Yeah.
So, but like, I know a lot of people who literally like, I'm like, oh, what's the answer on this? Like, I don't know. I chatted it. I'm like, why are you an engineer? Like, you're gonna build a building, it's gonna fall down because you didn't realize you had to build a triangle instead of a rectangle. Like,
there's definitely a right use for it.
No, like AI is like this huge prevalent thing that's coming up, but you got to be able to use it properly.
I'm scared of AI, honestly.
Like, there's a lot of scary things coming. Like, I'm not scared of what like the capabilities of it taking over. I'm scared of how people use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know a lot of people who just cheated their way through first year engineering. I'm like, you are firstly going to kill someone one day, and then you're going to either be in prison for manslaughter or you're going to have your degree taken away from you. And secondly, like, you're just discrediting everyone else because everyone else worked their butt off for this, and you are just not giving it any credit.
Yeah, well, I hope you know that you're very credible for that because you seem very like genuinely passionate about it. Like you were saying, like you want to make a difference.
Yeah,
like, that's really good.
Some I know some of my friends are like, I'm just in engineering because like I can make money to do what I want to do. I'm like, that's totally valid, but like you should want to do it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's good, Marnu.
Okay,
I
sounds
really
good to me.
appreciate it, dude.
Of course, dude. Anytime.
That was. I don't know. I think it's about 2 hours. I guess
It
we'll
is
see.
actually. I'm looking at my clock now. It's literally 6:56.
Man. Okay. Well,
You
hopefully
got a lot of audio to go through.
Hopefully you enjoyed your time. I don't know.
I did. I love conversations like this, man.
That was good. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So, yeah, hope you have a good one, and that'll do us.